G'day and welcome to Dokarate with Sensei, and I'm Sensei Bruce. Today's class is all about the philosophy of life in quotes. But before I start that, I'm going to talk to you about the tree of life, which is behind me. The tree of life is about personal development. It's about our uniqueness as a person. It's about our inner beauty as people. As we grow, like the trees and like the branches of life, towards the sky, so do we. We strive for knowledge, we strive for education, we strive for better enlightenment of ourselves, and so does the tree of life. And so do some of our quotes on our philosophy of life, whether they be personal or for a group or an organisation. So enjoy today's class, and I've got some great stories. Philosophy in quotes is to deepen our understanding, think better, act wisely, helps us with our knowledge and the experiences we're going to have in life. Your dojo is a place of training and enlightenment. Over the past 45 years, I'm going to talk about two stories today that have helped with our philosophy at our particular dojos and helped me with my philosophy in life. I hope you enjoy them. Our very first quote comes from a young man who spoke to me a long time ago. He came to me in a dojo and said, "Sensei, a champion I want to be." At that point in time, our dojo was in the golden era and we had so many champions and everybody just wanted to be like those particular athletes. And he said to me, "A champion I want to be." And I'll repeat that. A champion I want to be. Doesn't sound like really good English. And I laughed at the time. But my reply was, a champion of self, firstly be. So the quote goes like this. A champion I want to be. A champion of self, firstly be. Very similar to that very old quote. Know your enemy is to know yourself, or know yourself is to know your enemy. When you're striving to be a champion, you need a number of things. I'll just talk about these 5 things at this point of time. Technique. You need impeccable technique. Talent or skills. Great timing, great footwork, great distance. Tactics. You need to know against your opponent, great tactics to have against your opponents, and you need to know your opponents. More importantly, you need to know yourself. And tatami tactics. So when you're on the mat, you know how to conquer another opponent. So this quote comes from that particular conversation I had so many years ago. And I think it's really important, even to this day. A champion you might want to be, but a champion of self, firstly be. Our second story starts like this. I'm going to give you the quote first. I will not be responsible for my actions if this, and you can put it in the block there, in the space, does not stop annoying me. I will not be responsible for my actions if so-and-so does not stop annoying me. The reason why we came up with this particular quote, I had a young man who trained with me, and he was a lovely young man, but he liked to spend a bit of time by himself at recess at school and lunchtime just reading his book. But he seemed to get annoyed by boys who were a bit of a bully, who were obviously trying to be as obnoxious as they possibly could. And he came to me one day whilst we were at the dojo and said, "Sensei, I really have this problem. Every time these boys come, I feel like using my karate, but I don't want to." And of course, I said to him, "I'm sure we can come up with a different way, a way of getting out of this situation without having to use your karate skills. And he was a green belt, and all the boys would have been quite amused, or should I say intimidated, by his skills. He was a very intelligent young man, and he was intelligent with his karate. So we sat down at the end of the class. We sat down and we just workshopped a few ideas, and that's where this particular quote came from. I said to him, you have to be responsible. You've got to also make sure that the teachers and their principal know exactly what you're trying to get across to them, but say it in a way that there's no full stops at the end. There's just one big full stop at the end, and then you stop talking. And that's what he did. The next time the boys annoyed him, he went straight to his teacher afterwards and said to them, I will not be responsible if so-and-so does not stop annoying me. And that's where he put the full stop. And that was the end of the conversation. Not long after that, the boy was, of course, pulled over the coals for his behaviour, and not long after that, the boy left the school. We are all responsible for our actions, and especially if we're martial artists, and especially if we're karate people. We are responsible for our actions, but there is some real philosophy in this quote, is that you do not have to use your karate skills as such, as your physical skills, as using your mental skills. So I hope you really have enjoyed our two stories. The very first one, a champion, I want to be, a champion of self, firstly be. Our second quote, I will not be responsible for my actions if this person does not stop annoying me. I look forward to seeing you in the dojo, in your home dojo, in our very next class that we're going to be having very, very shortly. They'll be coming out every Wednesday. So let's do karate.